Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. As Greg said, my name is MK Holliday. I'm the Director of Giving Event Success at Mightycause, and we are excited and proud to be a partner of the Washington Gives platform and the Give Big Giving Day, and wanted to talk today about fundraising tools
If
that
there's
you
a
can
bunch of people, you're fine.
use on the platform. So we are going to go through ways you can customize the donor experience, talk through a reminder for some folks or maybe new for new people where you find your donor data, like leading up to the day or on the day. Some information about peer-to-peer fundraising and leveraging that, look at matching grants, talk through offline gifts, and then I have some new features to highlight that were just released onto the platform this morning that you can now make use of, and I think you'll be excited about those. And then we just have a little action plan and time for Q&A. Okay, a couple of reminders. One is that April 28th is early giving for Give Big 2026. It's new this year is that it's 1 week of early giving instead of two. I think everybody is aware of that, but just want to make sure you have that calendared for April 28th. And May 5th is Give Big, and it is midnight to midnight, 24 hours this year. I recommend that you register before April 28th if you're not already fully registered to make use of that full early giving period. I think it's just to your benefit to be available if a donor comes to your profile and they want to give. We want to make sure they're able to give. And registration does close on May 3rd. So you have through the end of the day on May 3rd, prior to May 5th being the big event. Okay, so there's, I think, a lot of different ways to brand your organization, to customize the story that you're telling, and to create different impact as you steward the donor through the platform. A couple of ways you can do that in the checkout flow is first, you can customize the donation form. So when you're on your when you're logged in and on the dashboard, you'll see the overview that you always land on. You scroll down and you get to checkout. If you expand checkout, you'll see the donation form. And this is where you can add custom donation levels. I like to say that you can tell a story of what different donation levels, the kind of impact that they could achieve for your organization. And so it's not restricted giving. So in this example, $200 the donor decides to give. That's not actually necessarily going to go towards fully vaccinating one dog or cat, but it is an example of the type of effect that different donation levels could have on your organization and your programming and your administration. There is a 60 character limit for those amount descriptions, so you can get a little detailed, but not overly. But again, that's going to display on the donation form. You can also allow donors to add a dedication. So maybe that's in honor of someone or in memory of someone. Say it's in honor of or on behalf of, there is an option where you could add an email address so that an email notification will go out to that person. And you can type in a little message. It's not rich text, it's just a simple message that it would send out when your donation is processed. So you could add dedications to your donation form and also designations if you want to provide maybe some different programs or funds where you want donors to be able to designate their donation, you can add those. And those are in the checkout area. Let's see. Sorry. Um, if you're not familiar with it, when you look at the donation form in that checkout area, there is a link that you can just click to copy the direct donation link to your page. So that will open your page with the donation form open. So you can send that link out directly to your donors. Um, Part of the stewarding the donors wisely is giving them a custom, like a thank you message. So the platform sends out the donation receipt for tax receipt purposes automatically. However, it's nice to have them have a thank you message from you. So you might, maybe some people might make phone calls to donors later. They might do a postcard. But one way to do it on screen as soon as they donate is to do the thank you page. So in the checkout again, when you're in your dashboard, you go to the thank you page and you click this add custom content button. and it's going to bring open a rich text editor. This is from 501 Commons, the organization, and you can put in a custom message. You can add in images or videos if you want. You can add a button to click here to view our annual report from last year, um, or draw attention to maybe a volunteer drive that you're doing. And so the thank you message, it could be a sentence or two, or it could be more built out, just like you can build out your profile in that about section. You can kind of do with that what you will, but we do think that there's a good response from donors when they see that thank you message. So if your donor is giving to multiple organizations, what does that look like? They will see Washington Gives like the platform thank you message, and below that will display each of the thank you messages from each of the donations that were in their cart. Let's see. As I mentioned, you can use, we call it a call to action button. So you can make use of a CTA button if you want. So that's like a special ad to guide what the donor does next or how they engage with your organization. You can, when you're on your thank you page, you can view it and see what it looks like in real life so that you're not wondering, you know, how does this display? I mean, it's going to look the same in your editor as it is on page because everything's done like um, everything is what you see is what you get. Everything is right there. But you can view the thank you page just to make sure that it looks the way you want it to look. Um, some parts of donor data that are helpful with your fundraising campaign and how you're thinking about using the platform and the data. If you're a returning organization, your organization has participated on the platform before, you will be able to see now, your donation data, and you can change the time period. It always defaults to the past 30 days, but you can pull a year's worth of dates at a time. So you can do the custom date range, and or you can also look by campaign type where you could say a giving event, Give Big 2025. And you could say, I want to look for, send a special message to donors that gave $250 or more. So, you'd fill in the filters for that. And then you could download the list, which will give you access to all of the different donation fields. What's on screen is just a summary. And then all of the additional donation data fields are in that download. But you can think about, especially if you participated in the past, different ways to segment your donors through the filters and how you might want to message them differently or engage with them differently. And if your organization is new to participating, as soon as, donations are on the platform year round, but as soon as donations come through the platform for your organization, they will appear in this donor report. So you don't have to worry about there being a lag on, Give Big or anything like that. They'll be there automatically. There is under reports, donor retention report. And I think this is really helpful for people that have participated in Give Big in the past. It allows you to see, compare year over year donors who have come back and made another donation or ones that have not been retained. And there's like a green dot for if they've been retained and a red dot if they haven't been retained. And you can use that information to, again, target these donors differently, maybe send them different messaging if they are a recurring or have come back donor versus a donor that we haven't seen, a donation from in the last year. Uh, So donation reporting, there's a lot of different ways you can cut up the data and look at it. But again, that's just helpful for, I think, segmenting your previous donors and maybe queuing up messaging a bit different for them. Another way to leverage the fundraising on the platform is using the peer-to-peer fundraising tools. If you're not familiar with peer-to-peer fundraising, it's the network effect. We'll talk about what it is, why you should do it, how to set it up, and then making use of the fundraiser templates to make it easier for everyone on the platform. So again, peer-to-peer fundraising is a network effect. You're basically leveraging, like, say, a board member's uh, contacts and information that, like about your organization. They're then promoting your organization to their network or to a volunteers network or a program recipient or somebody, and they're furthering your outreach. So people that might not be in your typical campaign strategy, this extends the reach out to them, and it's a personal appeal. It's a way for you to grow your reach for Give Big, because growing our reach and accessing new donors is always a challenge. So the more that we can use things like the peer-to-peer fundraising, the more likely we are to bring in new donors. It gets the visibility out for your page. And I think that people give to personal appeals. And if someone says, "Hey, I took the time to make this fundraising page," that compels me perhaps more than just an email that says, "Hey, come give to our organization." You need both of them, but the personal appeals sometimes will bring in donors that were wavering. It's really easy to create a fundraising page. The most straightforward way is that from your organization's profile, you'll see the donate button and the fundraise button. They will click the fundraise button and they'll see an on-screen message about getting started to create a fundraiser. And then they will just select the build your fundraiser and they will come to the fundraising page. And this is without using a template. So this is just like starting from scratch where they will be guided through. And this is just like your profile. As they build out their fundraiser page, they'll see on screen exactly how it will display when it's published. And so they'll be able to come in and add media or to add kind of a summary or to set a goal for their fundraising page. And there's a couple of different fields that they can fill out. If you want to make it as easy for someone to create a fundraiser as possible, you can use the fundraiser templates, and those are in fundraising tools, specifically in fundraising templates. And you would click the create button, and from there, there are some administrative fields. So you can say, like for the fundraiser title, this organization is called Homeward Trails. And so it says, hey, like we're telling the person that's creating the page to insert your first name where it's in the brackets, supporting Homeward Trails. So like MK supporting Homeward Trails, or you might come up with something more creative as a fundraiser title, but and the brackets aren't actually a functional thing. They're just a guidance on, I think donors will or fundraisers will realize that if you put something in brackets and say like your name here or your personal appeal here, like they'll know to put information into those brackets to customize it. But it makes it really easy for you to put even in a default fundraiser image so that they don't have to come up with one. Maybe you've got something that's like a programmatic picture that you really like or that you use in a lot of your marketing. So you might put in a fundraiser image. You can even tell them, you can even put in the story. So this is like a longer story about why to support my fundraiser, but in there you might put um, what kind of maybe some metrics that you've achieved or some testimonials from people that have benefited from your organization. And you can put those details in there. And then the fundraiser doesn't have to think about any of this. They're just going to see, oh, there's a suggested goal. I'm just going to go ahead and click yes, fill in the brackets. And it's a really easy way for them to create a fundraiser page without feeling like, oh, I don't know what to start. I don't know how to start from scratch, or I don't know what to say. Like you're doing the work for them. The fundraiser templates, so this is new feature that was rolled out today. There is no limit to the number of fundraiser templates you can create now. So that means that in this example, this organization has a couple of different fundraiser templates. The one that is starred, so you'll want to star one. That's the one that will be the default when someone clicks the fundraise button on your profile, and that will be the general one that goes out. So that's the general fundraiser template. If you wanted to have maybe a specific initiative to get all of your board members to create a fundraising page, you could create one that's a little bit different and call it like board members. It's just an internal title, but you could have a board member one. You could maybe have one for volunteers, and maybe the story would be a little different, or the goal is a little bit different. Or maybe it's like a volunteer kind of picture instead of something different. When you click on the three dots, that's the more icon, the three dots icon, you'll see an ability to copy the link. So basically, if you said, oh, I created a fundraiser template for volunteers, I can copy this link and email our volunteer base and send them directly to that fundraiser template to fill out. Or you could do the same for board members, or just for your general supporters. So that is new this year, is that you can leverage multiple templates and use it to make fundraising as like low of a hurdle as possible to get people involved in doing that for you. What it shows up on the public side when you do have that template enabled, so that star is black. They click fundraise and then they see this message that pops up and says, do you want to use the template provided by the organization? That's defaulted to be checked already. I don't think very many people actually uncheck it. They just go yes, and then they click build your fundraiser, and then they will see their pre-filled fundraising page. I would suggest thinking about who to contact to be a fundraiser is maybe who has, donated their time to you, who historically has been like a recurring donor, who, when you have like a request for help or you post something on social media, who responds, who's involved. Also, you could look at what people on your board or what people in your organization are well connected in the community. Like, is that their magic power? If so, let's leverage them. Um, I think that you can find a lot of success with fundraiser templates just by thinking through like who's most likely to like answer this call to action and then targeting them as your first step. Matching grants are another way to increase the fundraising that you see come through your profile. Matching grants are a way to encourage donations for people to get excited and say, "Oh, this person has a $200 matching grant. They only need 20 more dollars to meet that grant." And so people might say, "Oh, I'm going to give a little bit more," or "Oh, I'm going to come back at a certain time to help meet a match." People target, there's different types of folks that people have had success with targeting for a matching grant. So maybe they ask board members to do matching grants, or maybe it's a $200 or $500, or maybe a local business pledges $1,000. You might ask your major donors, people that want to have, there's a lot of different ways. It's really flexible what those matching grants can look like. So I'll show you a little bit of that. And you could even get your donor involved in saying, hey, do you want to give a match that's based on the number of donations received? Or do you want to say that we need to collect 10 $50 donations before the match is unveiled? There's a lot of different ways to be creative about it. And some donors like to be really involved in like and set that. Um, like I said, a $200 matching grant is great because if you have a dollar to dollar match, that $200 becomes $400 and you've done the outreach to get that match and enter the match. But outside of that, it's kind of like a painless process. It's just, it's doubling it's in that example of a one-to-one grant, it's doubling your impact. What does it look like if I have a matching grant live on my site? On your profile over the donate button, there's this little cutout that says that a match is live. There's a number one in that indicating that this organization has one match that's currently live. That number changes if there's multiple matches live at the same time. When you scroll down to the bottom of the profile page, at the very bottom of the page, there is a display of the various matches that are live at that time. Mightycause auto calculates how much of the match has been fulfilled, so you don't need to do any work there. You will be able to grab lots of matching data in your donation report, so you'll be able to see which donations came in through a match, what the amounts were, and then your organization is able to easily enter these matches and there's a full suite of help from Mightycause on this, but you'll just go to your organization profile and in fundraising tools, go to matching grants, and you'll land on what's called the match manager, and you'll just click create. And this is where you can put in the details of your match that you've discussed with your sponsor. You could put in a name You could make it anonymous if the donor or the sponsor doesn't want to be named publicly. So that's always an option. You can put in how much that matches. It's You could say, this is our $250 match. We want it to be included in page metrics. The majority of people do want their match values to be included in their on-page ticker. You can put a creative title there for it. You can set, if it's to be live during a certain date and time range, you can put it on there. Maybe it's just for early giving, or maybe the donor wants to drive donations from 2 to 4 on GiveBIG on May 5th. You could put that in. You can queue up matches. So say you get, 3 or 4 board members to be matching grant sponsors. You could queue them so that one comes after the other, comes after the other, so that they're not kind of all fulfilling at once with the same donations, but that we've prolonged the effect of those matches through the page, prolonged the excitement. Um, if your donors want to do a one-to-one match, the most basic way to do that is to click this match percentage of each donation, and we're matching 100%. If they were doing a 2-to-1 match, so $2 for every dollar you raise, that would be a 200%. If you need help with the math, we can help you there. Um, there are ways to do different match conditions. So you could set a minimum dollar amount, a donation amount before the match is applied. You could decide if you wanted to include offline donations in your match or not. Do you want donations from fundraisers to be included in your match or not? Um, again, there is the whole queuing way, so that will allow you to uh, make better use of your matches if they are coming consecutively instead of at the same time. And then there's it's on the bottom of this page. You can barely see it, sorry, in the screenshot. It says cumulative threshold match. So the most common and popular matches we find are that one-to-one, the match percentage. But a cumulative threshold match would be like a challenge where your sponsor for the grant, matching grant says, I want you to get 50 donations in, and then I'll release my $500 grant. Or um, instead of it being a dollar to dollar along the way grant, maybe you have that $250 donation, but they say you must raise $250 and then we'll release the $250 in total. And so there's different ways that you can set up a threshold match. So that's just where some of that creativity with the matching grant sponsor comes into play. And there are a lot of options here, and there's a lot of support articles written about it, which you'll be directed to from the question mark support icon on when you're in the matching grant manager. But also you can send a message to Mightycause, and you can ask your questions about like, hey, I want my match to act like this. Am I setting it up the correct way, or can you guide me on how to set it up? And our team is happy to look through and answer matching grant questions as they come up. There is the ability to enter offline gifts. So maybe someone drops off cash or check at your door, and that it didn't come through the platform, but it's still, the impact of GiveBIG is being felt, and we want to recognize that. So you would enter an offline donation. So this is entered by you, the organization, not by your donor. And when you go to your dashboard under reports, under donations, there's an offline donation. And so you'll click that and come to your donations report, where you'll see they add the offline donation text. And this picture is out of date, but the information is not. Where it says import offline donation, that used to have an icon to say it was a subscription feature, but now it's available to everyone. So you can now import offline donations as opposed to having to enter them one by one. So if you did get a bunch of, checks that walked in the door during, like some sort of drive, you can fill out a spreadsheet and import those offline gifts in now. There's a lot of different data you can collect, but you don't have to have all of it because you don't always have all of this information for an offline gift. But you can enter the name. You'll need to enter the donation amount. You'll need to put in the donation date and time, and you'll need to put in the source, whether it was a cash or whether it was a check or whether it was something else. And there's options for you to get into it and to put a note on it, or to mark an external tracking ID, such as the corresponding ID to your other, like, donation system where you're tracking what donors give to you. So there's ways for you to use this data. And this is more just for your kind of record keeping and for your reference so that you are clear on what these offline gifts were. So most of the fields are optional, but there is a variety of data that you can collect. You can delete an offline gift. So if you need to do that, like maybe it got double entered, you would just go to the three dots to the right of that matching, not sorry, of that offline gift and click delete. Um, and those are the main fundraising tools. So that's with a couple of additions, that's kind of standard of what we release or we've had every year. But the next couple of items are the ones that are new. So for those of you that are returning, these are brand new features as of today. One is that you'll now have access to the Contacts CRM. It's a built-in CRM tool in the Mightycause platform. It will allow you to track individuals that interact with your organization, be they donors or fundraisers or volunteers. You can, and I'll show this, I'll kind of demo this after we talk through it, but you can tag donors, you can segment them to email specific segments. You'll be able to see if you emailed them through the platform, which is a possibility now. There's a communications tab where you can see the different emails you've sent to your donors, a tab for you to look at the transactions for any campaigns or like fundraising pages that they've created for you. There's a whole suite of detailed data that you can collect on contacts in the tool. And so this is a great benefit for year-round use of the platform as well. Um, Automated emails. There are three automated emails that are toggled off by default, but you can enable if you'd like to. And those are one is a peer-to-peer creation message. So it sends, if you have it toggled on, it'll send within 48 hours of a fundraiser creating a page on your organization's behalf. And maybe in the content of that email, there's default content in there, but maybe you want to give some advice on who to reach out to, how to hashtag it, how to get uh, I guess, communications sent out about their peer-to-peer. So um, you're helping them know how to network or helping them know what to say in their messaging. There's also a welcome message that you can toggle on, and that would go out to a donor that is not in your donation history. So if a new email address comes in, there'll be a new donor, and this would send them a welcome message, thanking them for being interested in your organization. Maybe you could encourage them to become a recurring donor or to create a peer-to-peer for you. And then there's a kind of a past donor
Okay.
email. And this would be if a donor has not given to you in the
Okay.
last year, you could toggle this on and it would send out a reminder email like about coming back to our page,
Okay.
learning more about us.
This is ridiculous.
Um, so you can leave the messages as they are with the suggested content,
Oh.
or you can put in total, branding images to match your brand. And then this is maybe
Meeting.
more appealing for, again, year-round use or in from some of the larger organizations, but you now have full access to our integrations. So if you want to sync in your donor data from Salesforce or your email data from MailChimp, or if you want to use one of the many different ways that you can set up, I don't know if it's a Zap or a Zapier, but Zapier does a lot. And we have that as a third-party extension now. Or if you want to add Google Analytics or Facebook Pixel tracking, all of those integrations are available to you. And so, not to overwhelm or to think that you have to use all of these things, but there are some new features that we have enabled for your use year round and that are available now for GiveBIG. And I think they could make some parts of your lives a little bit easier with the automated emails and with the different fundraiser templates and just encouraging people to easily become a cheerleader for your organization.
Hey, MK,
Yeah,
we've got a question from Ashley, if I can find
yeah.
it there. She's raised her hand. Go ahead,
Hi,
Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
yes. Sorry, when you say Facebook tracking, like what does that mean in this
Facebook Pixel.
regard? like you can see like who clicked on your Facebook post, but like through the platform. I'm just not sure what it means in this context.
Oh, I'm not sorry, I'm not a marketing person, but there are like Facebook pixels, like tags that you can create to track, I think, whether people click through links in Facebook. And so if I don't know how to set that up, but if if that was something that was in your wheelhouse, you could set up that Facebook pixel tracking.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it is possible that our support center has an article about each of those different integrations. So it probably dives into more detail than I have offhand. Uh, so kind of the action plan following, following this webinar and leading up to early giving opening and then the Give Big itself happening on May 5th. If you haven't already registered, register. None of this works if you're not registered. You might want to you can keep updating your organization's page, your public profile, through the giving event. So you don't have to feel like it has to be set in stone, but it would be good to kind of finalize it and get an idea for what you want to have in there, hunt down any images that you want, or maybe solicit some testimonials to add a little more impact to your page. I recommend looking at the donation levels, maybe adding 4 or 5 donation levels to kind of guide donors' donations. I would also make sure to do that custom thank you message as a donor stewardship. If you're a returning organization, play around with those donation report filters to segment your donors and figure out what kind of targeted messaging you want to send to them based on how they've given in the past. I would look at a group to become peer-to-peer fundraisers. So maybe it's your board, maybe it's your volunteers, and then create a template specifically targeting that group. And again, now maybe you can create templates for multiple groups. But I would also then create that fundraising template and strive for inviting, like personally inviting 5 supporters to become peer-to-peer fundraisers. Hopefully, a couple of them do, and then hopefully more people are inspired to fundraise from there. But start out with something achievable, say 5 people. And also, I would think about who might you contact to secure a matching grant. And maybe you haven't done that in the past. And so maybe you're just looking for 1 or 2 people to do matching grants. Or maybe you have been doing this for a while and you want to make it a full board initiative where you're trying to have grants throughout the day funded by perhaps your board members or your major donors. So those are some of the action steps. And then, like I had mentioned, if you have questions on those matching grants or any of the aspects or any of the things we've talked about or haven't covered today, wallgives@mightycause.com is the email address to send your emails to. And that is a queue specifically for the Washington Gives platform users that goes to our support queue and is responded to by our support team. They are around from 9 to 5 Eastern Time, Monday to Friday. There is also a direct line, which may go to voicemail, but we do return the voicemails and a couple of links for the support.mightycause.com has articles about all of the new features that I mentioned, but the full suite of features. And then there's also a guide with some more blog articles. And then I think it's helpful to see the, um, let me show you. So the contacts area, some of the new items. Uh, where do I have contacts open? I went off of it. Okay, so I'm in my dashboard and I go to contacts. This is the demo site. So you'll see a list of people. This organization has started tagging some of them as being donors or fundraisers or volunteers, or that they gave during a certain giving event. You are able to display on screen a bunch of different properties. So these are all the different types of things you might collect on your contact, whether it's, their preferred name, their pronoun, whether it's their birthday, the best way to contact them, to see stats on the total amount that they've donated or the total number of donations they've given. There's a lot that you can display and look at for the donors or for the contacts, sorry, they're not just donors. And you can also message. So we do have this rich text messaging where you can create donor or contact segments and send out specific messaging to them. when you do reach out to somebody specifically, you'll be able to see in their comms tool, this will, in their comms tab, this will show communications that have gone out to them. So you'll be able to see that, see what campaigns or peer-to-peers they've created, see a list of all of their transactions. And there's just a lot of different ways, of uh, a lot of different ways, especially if you're kind of in the spreadsheet life right now, to go from spreadsheet to this contact CRM tool that is in the platform. Um, one of the other new items I mentioned was the automated emails. So that's under fundraising tools. And this has the three emails that I discussed. And so for this welcome message for that first donor, you can toggle it on and you will see when you go to edit it that you can change for the three emails, the sender name and the reply to email. So you can have that be different for each of those emails. You'll get a preview of how the email is going to read and display. And then we put in suggested content for the subject and the email content, but you can come in here and change that up. You can personalize it, you can brand it, you can put in logo, you can put it in an image or a call to action. So you can use them as is, or you can drive different messaging through them. And then for those of you that are returning, so from donors, you're in your offline donation area. Here's where the import for the offline donation is. You'll be able to see more information about how to do an import and also the data template to use so that you can import that data. Um, the fundraiser templates, this one only has one, but again, now you can create multiple templates and set your fundraisers up for the easiest experience possible. And and then the integrations, this is where you can go ahead and connect your Salesforce or your Slack or your HubSpot and bring in data from those accounts into the Mightycause platform that you're using for Washington Gives and for GiveBIG. Uh, Greg, are there questions? Any questions that I can answer?
Not right yet, but feel
Not right
free
now?
to put your question into the chat, folks, or raise your hand and we'll
Yeah.
call on you.
Yeah, so that's a lot of information. I didn't want to get into anything too detailed because it might just be, brain overload. But we do have support articles about everything. We also have the support team for everything. That support icon here, it the our support platform knows where you're at in the platform, and so I clicked on that support icon in the integrations area, and now it's saying here are some suggested articles about these different integrations. So you can see if those suit your need, and if they don't, go ahead and contact the support team with your message and your question, and they'll reach out to you.
Hey, MK, we've got a question from
All right.
Heather at
Hi, Heather.
Organic. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I'm brand new to and in a brand new position for our small nonprofit. And but we have actually worked with GiveBIG twice before. And I sort of inherited all of the passwords and I'm in the back end of our dashboard. And I think what I'm seeing is that in the past we didn't create a new campaign for each year. Is that or so like I just see that we created.
Campaign. Oh, the campaigns are really more like peer-to-peer, like fundraising
Okay.
pages.
Okay. So basically, I would just take last year's campaign fundraiser as a single fundraiser and modify that one, or am I creating a new campaign for this year? Because I think
You
they
don't need
act.
to have, oh, you don't need to
Okay.
have them.
Okay.
You don't need to raise money.
Okay.
You I don't know sometimes I like the word campaign, sometimes I don't.
It's
But
confusing.
it's not like a campaign, like a development, like work campaign, like we're doing a drive for campaigns for like the annual appeal or for like the Give Big campaign or something. These are the fundraising pages or group or team fundraisers that were created on behalf of your organization.
Okay.
And so some organizations, to your point, some organizations might not create a fundraiser. Others might do a different fundraiser for maybe different programs that they really want to drive attention to for, this this Give Big campaign, I guess. Um, but yeah, you could also take one of your past fundraisers and use some of that content for to create a fundraising template if you want to do
Okay.
that. But
Like,
you don't have to have like in this campaigns area, you don't have to have something live in order
okay.
to raise funds or have your profile bring in donations for Give Big.
Okay, so I could just go to the organization page, adjust and edit there,
Yeah.
and then that's what goes live this year if we're just using it that way. Got it. Okay, thank you
Yeah,
very
yeah,
much.
because your profile page is going to look like if you take
Yeah.
off the edit mode, like this is it live and this is you know the donate button is there. So provided you're, like approved and published, the donate button is live and that's all you need to raise money.
Okay. Is there any version control tracking? Like, is there any way I can see what changes have been made over time and at what points in time to our main page? Is there a record of that anywhere? Kind of like versions.
I don't think I don't know it's an admin tool, a
Okay.
Mightycause tool.
I don't
No,
think
there's no
so.
version control.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Heather, you could use the Wayback Machine if you know what that is.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that would work or not.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's okay. This helps clarify that I can just adjust what they have here.
right,
I was just a little confused with the campaigns if that was because I have several in our history, but it doesn't look like that's what went out last
right.
year. So figuring out what that was. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Hey, MK, I've got a couple more questions. One's
Okay.
from Kelly over at Real Change. They're a publication here in the Puget Sound area. And Kelly's wondering if there's an integration with Give Butter. That's a CRM system, I believe.
Yeah, there is not at this time.
Okay. And do you know if it's anything they're planning it or possible? It's on the list.
It's I'm sure it's on the list because I think we definitely keep it track
Yeah.
of like what the popular nonprofit software is.
Right.
I have not heard it mentioned recently. Well, actually, I have heard it mentioned recently. I can't remember in what context, so I definitely can't speak to it right now, but we
Okay.
can check
That's
and
fine.
see.
That's
I'm
fine.
sure it's on the
Sure.
radar though.
Yeah, Kelly, we'll get back to you on that. And Eric has a question. Go ahead, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, am I
It's
Yep,
you.
you're live.
okay? All right. My question was, these tools look fabulous. I'm with a small nonprofit called Adopt a Stream, and we are in the spreadsheet era of managing our donors. And
Fair.
so, um, is this, are these tools just for use in the context of your Give Big campaign, or are these tools like you said you could use this year round? Because I was just looking at like the donor database. We don't have a donor database.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason that you can't use. I mean, you can import data. So if you want to import your spreadsheets and import your contacts into here, you can do that. This is can be used outside of just the Give Big. This could be used for, yeah, I mean, donations that you have come in through another platform or not even just donors. It could be volunteers, or maybe it's people that you're targeting as potential board members or advisors, so you could track different contact type of data.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions for MK? You got her here right now, and we're live for another 10 minutes here. So I wanted to highlight also, folks, the uh, matching is just, I've seen small organizations who have very limited budgets where they'll get their board to donate maybe $200. You can start a very low amount and just say, up to the next, don't 10 donors will will double their match up to $50 or whatever it is, whatever amount it is. But make sure you use those things because they work really well because people always believe that they're getting a 2-for-1 sort of a thing or an additional bump on their donation. MK, did you have anything else? Looks like you're about to show us something here.
Nope, I was just bringing up the
Oh,
match, like to show you it is there is a lot of different data you can enter on the match. And as Greg said, you could say that you wanted to match, $200 and that your this match only applies to like donations that are $20 or more,
Right.
or something like that. So if you're trying out some new targeting or some new messaging to donors, maybe you would avail yourself of some of those different options. Or maybe you want to, you're not as focused on dollars this year, you're more focused on new unique donors. So you could like have matching grants that are, we'll release that $200 when, 10 unique donors have been reached, or some other number. But there's a lot to play around with here, uh and that is why our support team, I mean, they're definitely more expert in matching grants than I am. I know how they work, but they can help you like troubleshoot, and they're really good at it.
Great. And Russ, let's see. Russ has a question. The dates that the five we were going to be sending the emails to previous supporters. I'll
Oh,
have to pull that for you, or do you know it, MK? I don't have it off the top of my
um,
head.
you know what? Sorry. Forgive me while I look off screen, ish, different screen. We are sending out the Give Again emails on, we just talked about that on our last call.
Yeah. Russ is looking at yes, I will. We will email it to everybody.
Um,
Good point, Russ. Thank you.
yep.
So we're
We are going to
looking
send one out on the day early giving opens, so April 28th. And then like I think we're talking about morning-ish of Give Big.
yeah, it's on the 5th of May.
Yep, on the 5th.
Okay.
Thanks, Joel. The reason why I ask is that it's often problematic inundating our supporters, and we're really sensitive to keeping that in mind. It would also be helpful to if you could advance participants the copy of the language that you're using. And this request goes beyond GiveBig because we're aware that you're also sending the emails out around Giving Tuesday as well. So having that information is really important to our promotional efforts. So appreciate your willingness to do that.
Thanks, Russ. All right. Anybody else? Other comments, questions? Heather again from Organic Seed.
Hi, Heather.
No, I was just seconding that from
Oh,
Russ in terms of sending that out because I think we're very sensitive to that too.
perfect. Good points. Anybody new to Give Big this year? Do we have a lot of folks that are new, or most of you are returning? Anybody want to chime in for the new folks and have any very specific questions, or returners that have something that MK mentioned or didn't mention? Somebody have a question or anything?
This is actually my first time I'm learning about it. I was wondering if we have a pickleball tournament, and I was wondering if that donation that we get from there is also can be counted toward that.
It would be, is it on the same day?
It will be
Or
on May 2nd.
you could, I mean, yeah, definitely. You could apply it to the as an offline donation towards Give Big. It's a pre-event. It's not on the 5th itself. So yes, you could.
And then if how's that gonna be applied? If they actually get the tickets online, is there a way to do the ticket through that program, like from the site, or
Tickets for your event,
yeah?
and that would be
So
a
the
little bit
ticket is like
separate.
a
That
so
would be
there's two.
separate, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So there's two ways. The ticket will be kind of like they are going, part of it will be donation and part of the admin, and also the donation that we'll get in during the event.
I see. Um, I think you could work a way that you would we could work with you on doing that. Why don't I'll shoot you an email afterwards, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Also, if you don't use, speaking of the pickleball and the fundraising tools, the opportunities. If you haven't used opportunities, this is a way to engage community members, and encourage them to engage with you in ways beyond just, monetary, because people have different ways to give. And so you can add an opportunity, and there's a search page that's, I think it's wagives.org/opportunities. And that will show you whether it's like an in-person or a online volunteering, or whether it's a calendar event, like it's your pickleball tournament is in person. You could link to an existing URL for that for your pickleball tournament and put in like the location and the address. Um, and if you needed to attach a file for like someone to like sign like a waiver or do something, you could do that. There's a lot of different details in here, but this is a way for you to kind of promote to the community ways to engage, whether it's like a food can drive or a pickleball tournament, or whether it is, like reading at the nursing home or whatever it might be. You can put those whether it's a fundraising event or like a Give Big day of event that you're hosting, or whether it's a volunteer um, evergreen sort of thing. You can put those on the page.
Great. What else? Anything else, folks, that you have questions for MK or those of us on the 501 Commons team for Give Big 2026? Okay, I'm not seeing anything else, but we'll hang out here for a few more
Okay.
minutes if you want to stick around. MK, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
We'll be around for a few more minutes. We'll be sending a follow-up, and also please know that there's another training next week, and it is all about storytelling. And I'll be sending a quick thing to you in about half an hour after this to register for that. It's storytelling. It's on Tuesday, same time. So watch for that, and would love to have you. That's also free, and it helps you to frame your story and what MK was talking about earlier about putting together your message, and that'll help you put that together. All right, folks, thank you very much for joining us. Unless there's anything else, hang out with us for a while. I'm going to turn the recording off, but thank you for coming today.